Hi guys, this is Abhinav for Homeschooling in London. I want to do this quick video about homeschool burnout, when you feel completely and utterly exhausted and just totally and utterly burnt out from homeschooling. I'm feeling like that at the moment, and I wrote a blog post recently about when you feel like that, just stop and just completely just stop homeschooling. And what I basically meant by that was that you might have a structure, you might have a curriculum, you might have all these activities that they go into back and forth all the time, and it gets to a point where you're just exhausted. Just like if your child was going to school every day, you get to a point where you're just completely and utterly just burnt out, and you just can't actually physically do it anymore. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, whatever, you just can't do it anymore. You just need a break. And recently, I've started to feel almost like, with all the activities that he's doing, with all the stuff that we have planned to do and stuff, is getting to a point where it's starting to feel stressful, and the level of stress is reaching the point of when he was at school. So that was why I made this decision a few weeks back about flexi schooling him, letting him go for a couple of days of the week, and then the rest of the days he's with me, homeschooled. And I actually do kind of stand by that decision at this point in time, because I do feel extremely burnt out with the whole thing at the moment. And it's not so much because I just can't really be bothered with it or anything like that. It's more to do with the fact that the way I am as a person, I like to make sure things are done properly, so to speak, in terms of if I'm going to be doing a course or something like that, I want to make sure I completed it. I don't want to quit. I don't want to stop. So I end up kind of like pushing myself so hard with it that it gets to a point where I just reach total and utter burnout, and I'm just like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I'm fed up with it. Even though I'll continue, but I'm continuing completely and utterly burned out. And at this point in time, I feel like that. I feel kind of burned out. And I feel like I'm trying all these different things with him, and different work, and taking him different places and field trips and everything. And there'll be days when I'm just happy and really like amazed how beneficial the homeschooling is for him. And there'll be days when I just feel like I'm sick of it and I want to throw in the towel, because it can be a real struggle. So what I've been doing these past few days is just not doing anything. Like last week, for example, we did our literacy work in the morning, which literacy and numeracy work in the morning, which is what we do every day. That's the main thing we do every morning. It's the only structured work that we do. We just sit and do the literacy and numeracy stuff. We might not even just sit down and do it. We might do like, right, make sure you count all the blue socks and identify the numbers that go with the amount of blue socks that you have, or red socks or whatever. So I'm seeing that he's actually identifying the numbers, and then I'll do the literacy, which is QMON. So the QMON is what we do every single day of the week, regardless of anything else we're going to do. And so what was I going to say? So yeah, so we do that structured work in the morning every day anyway, regardless. Then for the rest of the day, what I'll do is I'll just be like, well, what do you want to do? And he'll say, I want to go here. Last week we ended up going to... I lost my train of thought because... sorry, I lost my train of thought because my son's behind me making a lot of noise. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, and he said I wanted to go to the park, so we ended up going to, not the normal park we go to, we ended up going to a different park, which is like quite far away. And then we went to the cinema, went to the movies, and went for a meal and stuff. And we learned quite a lot in that park because it's quite a historical park. So that's what we've been doing. And I will do the stuff that we're supposed to do in the morning, and it only takes 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the morning. And the rest of the stuff, I just don't have a curriculum for it. I don't have a curriculum for like history and for science and for geography and for all these different things. I literally just do it by living, basically. And I found that that's really working in the sense of making me feel less burned out. even though at this point I do feel burned out generally, and that's because of the previous way I was doing things. It was just too much. I had all these folders with all these different like plans in there, and it just got too overwhelming for me. So that's why the two main basic topics, literacy and numeracy, are things that I do structured, and the rest of the stuff is just literally, in a way, basically like unschooling for the rest of the topics. And right now, I feel like I just need to completely stop everything for the next maybe couple of weeks and just totally unschool 100%. And then sort of get back to the more structured way of doing things for literacy and numeracy after. But after I've had kind of a little bit of a breathing space, and I think he needs a little bit of a breathing space. But regardless of whatever happens, he will still be going to the Montessori school that I was talking about in a previous video, where I mentioned that they support people that need flexibility in the schooling, and they support people that want to sort of home educate. So it's an ideal choice because he can go a couple of days of the week, and it's flexible. It's not by force that they have to stay there for the whole day either. So I'm happy with that. He'll be going a couple of days of the week, and the rest of the day he'll be homeschooled with me, which works out perfectly. I think he will start in September, and I think that is the happy medium that we have established. But yeah, the message of this video is, when you feel burned out from homeschooling, as in all the structured curriculum and all the like activities, the back and forth, all of the like stress that can come with it, eventually you end up, it gets to a point where it's as stressful as them going to school, if not worse. So when you feel like that, stop, literally stop, and say, right, I'm not following any specific national curriculum at this point, so why do I have to adhere to it? So therefore, stop. Just be like, right, I'm going to just do what I want to do for the next however many weeks or months, and just let them learn by living for a while and see how that works for you. Don't stress yourself out, wake up in the morning, drag yourself out of bed going, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted, I can't do this. If you are exhausted and you need a break, take it. Because the more you pretend like you don't need a break, the worse it gets. And it can eventually leave you so burned out that you physically can't do anything, and your child is just there, and you have to end up hiring someone to help you, or a bit worse still, like just send them to 100% full-time school, and you really don't want to. It's because you're just exhausted, and you don't actually realise that you need to take a break for a while, and then maybe get back to it, take a breather, and then maybe get back to it. Don't just keep going and going and going and burning yourself out like a steam train, not actually really thinking that you need a break when you actually do. So if anyone's watching this, mothers, fathers, whatever, carers who are doing homeschooling and are finding it quite challenging at this point, and you feel really exhausted and stuff, just stop homeschooling for a while and just take a breather and take a break before you end up with having some kind of nervous breakdown, seriously. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.